I made some decisions which now I wished I would have made a little bit different. It started with that I felt so hopeless about the whole thing that my mom had ALS. And then I realized like just sitting and being sad, because for sure, like maybe it's you have to be sad. And that's good. I think you have to let emotions out. So for sure, it's good to be sad, but you cannot only be sad. And that's really cool. I have the ability to do something. So probably I should do something if I can do something.
Sweden win! Hector!
Our guest today is an athlete whose story is one of persistence, patience, and the quiet courage to believe in a dream long before the world sees it. From a promising junior to seasons interrupted by setbacks to Olympic champion Sara Hector. Sara, welcome to Alpine Pulse Unplugged.
Thank you so much.
Now, let's start early. Let's go to the early years and your roots with skiing. I hope I've got the pronunciation right. You were born in Sandviken.
Sandviken, yes,
Sandviken.
good.
And not a place that naturally screams World Cup ski racing, Olympic champion, but what do you remember about your first connection to skiing and what drew you into the game of ski racing?
Like, I think I really, really loved skiing from the age of like, I don't know, maybe 4. Like my parents took me to the slope and like from the first day, I think they had a hard time bringing me from the slope. Like I really, really loved it from the early years being on the slope. It's like, I love to ski. So it started there. In Kungsberget, which is like my home ski resort. It's not really a big ski resort. It has like 200 meters of vertical drop. And if you ski now, maybe you can do 1 minute GS. So it's really, really flat. It's like, we used to call it like a parking lot sometimes, but it's really, really good for kids to learn how to ski actually.
Yeah.
And it's like 20 minutes away from where I grew up. So that's pretty good distance. You have time to do the homework in the car and then you arrive and then you can go out and have fun with the friends. And we had a nice community where I grew up.
And did you know from a very early age that ski racing was going to be your thing? It was going to be your life, your soul, your passion. I mean, you are such a beautiful, passionate athlete. But did you know when you were 4 or 5 years of age that was going to be what's pretty much most of your life to date?
No, for sure not. I mean, it was never like when I was a kid, I just did it because I really loved it. And I mean, then I started dreaming maybe around 10, like you see all those, like Anja Persson, she was really, really good when I grew up. And then Anja, I saw her on TV all the time, you know, doing this Sälen, like the seal. So when I saw her, I was like starting to dream of being like her or winning races or, you know, even just being able to compete and doing this. So I was writing something about like what I would do, I think when I was 10, about 20 years later. And then I opened it now and it said, I want to be a teacher, but I want to be a ski racer. I want to win this, but I want to also live in a big house. I want to have a lot of kids. You know, I dreamt about probably a lot of things, but for sure, skiing was always my biggest passion. I always had so much fun going to the slopes and just enjoyed it always to develop.
And then your junior career, people saw very quickly that you were a talent, and the Junior World Championships podiums came, and there was that clear affinity with giant slalom. Did you already feel back then that giant slalom would be the discipline that defined Sara Hector?
Yeah, but I think I was always better in giant slalom. Like all my life, giant slalom came a little bit earlier and better, like better result-wise. When I was around, I don't know, 13 or 14, like everybody was going really good in slalom and taking the gates, and I was going around them. So I practiced carving a lot because I was a little bit scared of the gates. I'm not like everybody. I think a lot of people sometimes they look at me on TV and then they think I'm a really brave girl, but I am not super brave. I am pretty scared about a lot of things, and apparently when I was a kid the gates were one of them. But then I practiced and I started taking them a little bit late, but I also had so much fun, you know, going carving. But I think then I learned how to do slalom a little bit better, but slowly. I was after a little bit, but yeah, it did get better. Actually, my first junior world champion medal was in slalom. It came really unexpectedly. But maybe a lot of girls did DNF, I don't know, but it was still a very cool experience for me because I was coming there, like I had done pretty good results in European Cup in giant slalom, and in slalom I was starting 25 maybe, but it was surprisingly just a good race for me.
And you had great success as a junior giant slalom champion and medals in slalom. At that young age, did you start to dream a little, but also feel that you were going to be a professional ski racer? The fun was starting to turn into more intensity, and the laughing and joking was actually becoming a bit more serious? Or was it always something that you took with a smile, with a fun element to your racing? Because you're one of the happiest World Cup ski racers I think I've ever met.
Oh, that's nice. I don't know if everybody who's working with me would say the same. Like it can go up and it can go down a lot. I think I'm maybe a really emotional girl. So I can be very happy. And then sometimes I can also be a little bit like, I can get pretty serious also with my ski, very serious with my skiing. Sometimes also too much, because I really like, to... I really like to develop. And then when things is not really going my way, then I can get stubborn.
Okay.
And then I can be sometimes maybe not always, I don't know. I hope I'm nice to work with, but sometimes I'm a little bit maybe too stubborn for my best too. But it's good I have stubborn coaches too. So
you meet your match.
No, but in the end, I think, but I really love skiing for sure. So maybe that's very fortunate. Since I'm doing this as my work now, I'm lucky to call it my work. Then it's nice to be able to also enjoy what you do for sure.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about when you came to the World Cup and we started to see you on a regular basis. Åre 2009, I think I'm right in saying.
Yes, you're right.
World Cup debut. What stands out when you think about those early seasons, the learning curve, the pace, the environment? Because when you hit the World Cup tour, you hit it with a bang.
I like the year before I actually did this World Cup race. I was doing European Cup,
yep.
And the best I was 11 seconds after. 11, you imagine that's not a little bit. That's really a lot. And then I did ski really well on in Sweden on the races, and they took me in the junior team anyway because I performed in Sweden. And then I get a really good coach, Anna Ottoson's dad, Hans Ottosson, and he had lots of experience, and he was really like, sorry, you have to stay positive, you have to stay about, especially because I can sometimes be a little bit self-critical. And then he was telling me I was not allowed to say anything bad, just the good things when we were watching video. And I think we did really good development that year, watching all the good things on the video. And he was really coaching me, not only skiing, but a lot of things outside skiing too, and taking responsibility, and especially for the mindset, how to also stay positive against your own performance. So he was really working with me a lot in this. And then that season, I practiced a lot of skiing on the preseason. And then the first European Cup race came, and I was second. And then I was third on the next one. And then I get to go to World Cup, and then I qualified. 22nd, and from 11 seconds after in European Cup until 22nd in World Cup, that was a really, really good development in just 1 year. And probably a lot of it was also, I think, in the head. So I was lucky to get some good coaches in that time.
Let's move on to growth from that fantastic World Cup debut, I think, to some of the setbacks and then the magical gold moment. Your career, we would say, has not been linear. There were, as you described, fast progress and then injuries, and then that seemed to slow down results in many ways. Between your first World Cup victory and your second World Cup victory, and I'm sure this is a stat that you don't want to hear, nearly 7 years passed between that first win and the second, possibly the most challenging part of your career. How did you maintain your belief through that time? And what did those years of injuries and setbacks teach you about yourself?
Yeah, that's a big question. And I think a lot of things or answers given this, but I think Yeah, for sure. First, it was running really well. And then I get this tough injury where I lose all the cartilage in one knee, and the doctors didn't know if I could really make it back from that. So for sure, that was a tough time to just go through that injury. I think I didn't race for maybe 13 months. But then when I was able to come back, I did actually pretty well. Like I had lost a lot of ranking because I started then in the middle of the winter, so January sometime. And I was, I think, 4th when I get injured. And then I was starting 25 when I came back. So it was also for sure I lost some starting numbers in this process, but I was just so happy to be able to come back competing and like being on the start. So, and I had always a little bit pain racing that, but when I came to or training before, but when I came to the race, like all that adrenaline kicked in and was feeling nothing. It was so nice. I was just like, can I go into the binding again? I didn't feel anything. I had to go out one more extra time just to feel, but so for sure it was a process to just like being able to come back. But then it went pretty like fairly good. I think the second race I was 6th, and I did a really like best time second round with over a second. So I was actually like, anyway, for being away so long and all that stuff, it went really good. But I think after that's when a lot of setbacks came, because then I started to expect much more from myself again. And in some ways, I think I didn't maybe have all the development in that period, which would have been good. And I made some decisions which now I wished I would have made a little bit different. I always like training a lot, and I believe training a lot is for sure good. But I wish I would have tried in this period to train also way too less.
Okay.
Because if you never train to less, you don't know where the limit is down. Yeah. And also like both dry land and skiing wise, it's good to know where the limit is down and where the limit is up. And I think I was a little bit too afraid to do that in those moments too, because I really I knew where my success had been coming from, because I'm not really a sport talent. Like a lot of great athletes has been through the times. They are good in every sport they try. Like they do volleyball, they are good. They do football, they put the ball where they want to. Like they are just really good athletes. And I'm really not a really good athlete. But I am a stubborn person, I would say. And I really worked hard to get where I am. And then I would say that was like the only way I could see forward, to work hard. But I would have been good to try it a little bit earlier, to do less. But I was too scared to do that at that time. Like I didn't know when things went bad. It's still my first instinct is to train more, not less. Okay. So I don't know. I think it just says me that I should train more when things is not going the way. And sometimes, that's super good too, because then you put in the work and that's what moves you forward. Because for sure it's good. You think you're passionate, you want to do the best. But this balance, it's for sure good. That's why it's so important to have a lot of good people around you too. But then I think, so anyways, I think that was some years. And then I started, like you asked me how I didn't lose my hope or beliefs in myself. And this for sure I did also. Yeah. So sometimes you lose a little bit, you lose the confidence. And I didn't always believe in myself. And that's when things really went down for a little while. Like it happens. But then it's so important to, I think, remember why you do this. And I do this because I love the sport. I love skiing. I love doing what I do. I like to be on the mountain and I like developing. And I think the moment I realized, like, maybe I never make another podium, maybe I never do another good result, that's when I started to relax a little bit. And I think things started to get a little bit easier again, because I think when I really wanted it so much and, I felt, shit, I'm in good shape and maybe I did good on trainings. And then I was coming on the race and expecting a lot, but that I didn't really know if I could. And I really wanted to, but didn't really believe it. And it's so difficult mentally to really do it. And I think I had to really go through all that process to be able to do better results.
I think you've been hard on yourself. You can't say I'm not a very good athlete when you're the Olympic giant slalom champion. I think you've been a bit tough on yourself there, Sara.
Well, yeah.
To be honest, I just want to get that in. But you can't say I'm not a very good athlete. You've got an Olympic gold medal in your back pocket.
Well, thank you. But I'm not the sport talent that can do every sport. You should see me doing volleyball, then you would know what I mean.
Okay, we won't expect a volleyball gold medal, but we do expect another. You can't say that.
But thank you.
And then things begin to click again. And I think you went through a period in your career where you were learning, maturing, growing. And just before Beijing, we see a confidence that we've never seen before. And as a commentator, and all the other commentators, you're one of the most liked female racers on the tour. One of my favorites, because of this up and down, because of this perseverance, and because how you've been a hero, zero, and then all of a sudden you come back to be a superhero. And Beijing, third Olympic Games, first medal, gold, ending a 30-year wait for Sweden in giant slalom. What did that race mean to you? And what was the difference on that day? Because all the things we'd seen in a little glimpse here and a little glimpse there, and all of a sudden, it all came together. And as a TV commentator, you were spectacular. You were in control, run 1, run 2, like it was meant to be.
Well, I think I really, like I said earlier on this podcast, I think I was really coming there like, first of all, I had really decided myself I was going to really try everything I could to win. Like, obviously, that was probably one of the big parts. Like, I was really like, I had decided myself, like you said, I had the confidence there. I had really, really good confidence. I think I never had that confidence before, and probably, I don't know if I ever had it since. But, you know, that feeling for sure was like super good. Yeah. And then in additional, like second round, I was standing on the start and I was thinking, like, whoa, I'm even leading the Olympic Games. And you know, how often would you get a thought like that on the start? That's not really happening for me, at least. So I was really feeling proud. And I think that moment of, you know, it's much easier to perform when you feel proud of yourself than the opposite.
Yes.
So I think that also made a really big difference. And that was a really cool moment for sure. And also maybe I had really good setup and a lot of things was really working really well at that time. Like, I think the snow in Beijing, it works really well for my kind of skiing. So I was lucky with that too. And yeah, you know, it was a lot of things coming together, I think, too.
And like many skiers, these demons that get in your head. And they make... Why is this bad guy telling me this? And why is this bad guy? There were no demons that day. It was as if...
But you know how nervous I was.
Yes.
It was crazy. I've never been so nervous. Like, I couldn't eat. I was like, one piece of rice, it felt like a potato. It was not like it was no demons. Or maybe it was not so many demons, but there was a lot of how do you say it?
Nervous, yeah.
Nervousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was so nervous, yeah. So that was, I've never felt something similar.
And here we are, second run, last one to go. And we're all absolutely thrilled because this is the lady that we really want to win. This is the lady that's gone through the rough, the tough. She's gone from hero to zero and she's battled her way back. But you've got to do it on the second run.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
always.
You're only halfway.
Yeah.
How did you manage to absorb those nerves and ski even better on the second run than you did on the first?
Well, I don't know. Do you think I really skied better on the second run? You think
Absolute
so?
Control.
Absolutely.
Control.
No, I almost fell in the third gate, actually.
Yes.
It was a little bit wake-up call. But maybe I did some really good turns too, for sure.
Yeah, but...
I did, and I really went for it.
And when you normally get into trouble on the third gate, you go down.
Yeah, that's
I've seen
true.
you go down on the third gate before. And this time, I'm not going down.
No, for sure.
This was Sara saying, I'm not going down. My gold medal's at that red line down there, and I'm having it. And this is why we were so... I was screaming in the commentary box, come on, get on with it, Sara. And you went, and you just brought your feet underneath, retook the balance, and it almost said, I need the turbo now.
Yeah.
And then, boom, you smashed it.
Yeah.
Did it feel that way for you?
I don't remember so much from my second run, except I remember this thought on the start.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I was skiing probably. And then I remember for sure coming into the finish. And I remember meeting Fede and Lara, and they were both so happy. And just that feeling, you know, of... I was shattering my whole body, but I don't remember so much skiing. But I remember my first run, I thought, shit, now I do some good turns. But sometimes when you think like this,
they're not so good.
And sometimes they're not so good, yeah. And you come to the finish and you're like, oh, I did the run of my life. And then you look and you're like, okay, no, that's not true. I'm 3 seconds after. Sometimes it can be like that because you're like too much in control and you think you're doing everything good, so you don't put in the gas. So this limit, that's not always so easy, like to find this, because sometimes when you're charging and you're really doing everything, and then it's some mistake is happening here and there, like you said, my second round, then you're coming to the finish and you're thinking you did a bad run, and then you're fast, and then your confidence is going up a lot too, because you're thinking you can do much better. But it's interesting, this sport sometimes.
Beijing was a strange Olympics, COVID, all of these issues, no crowd.
Yeah.
Nobody to celebrate with you. But did you notice that the ladies that took silver and bronze, they were so happy for you?
Yeah, I did notice. I did really feel it when I came to the finish, that they really was feeling with me, and that's so cool, like to experience that. And for sure my whole team was there too, so, and that's the one you want to celebrate with, because that's the one you really do the journey with. So it doesn't matter so much if it was a crowd or not, but for sure it's also cool when it's a crowd, but just that moment, you know, to share with the one you're battling the hard times with, that's like it can really warm up the heart.
And then it sinks in. And you've said your biggest strength is your ability to focus, but also sometimes you doubt yourself, that your mind can fill with noise, I think I've heard you describe it. How do you find your way back to that belief? And how do you convert that magic moment of the Olympic gold into your professional ski racing life? The Olympics comes every 4 years. World Championships comes every 2 years, but you got to go to work every weekend on the World Cup. How do you use that gold medal to get you back on track where you want to be on the World Cup tour as well?
You know, trying to really find the things what I love in the process of being better, of challenging myself and learning new things and learning new movement patterns and new movements in the skiing, and that journey of getting better. I think that's what really makes it worth it for me, because that's so much fun to maybe, you know, and then you can think about the details, and then maybe you go out and you try them, and maybe sometimes it works, and maybe sometimes you need to practice it a lot more, or, you know, that the journey is just a lot of fun. So I would say, like, that's, I think, but I don't know if that gold medal, it helped me a lot in ways of, like, with people from the outside, me maybe being able to support even better, I think sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe made a big difference. But for me personally, I don't know if it mostly maybe changed what other people think of me, only because I did well that day. You know, it could have been another day too. But I was a little bit lucky. It was just that day, and that the period came just before the Olympics, because it could have been coming any other time. But for sure, I mean, it's very cool when you get to develop, and for sure it's so nice when you get to work with good people, and that's very luxury. And maybe sometimes it can be a little bit more interesting if you have done good results.
You're so humble. You're too nice. You're too nice. Here's a tougher question. That same season, you were also fighting for the giant slalom Crystal Globe. And why is the GS Globe so incredibly hard to win?
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't answer it because I didn't win it yet. But or maybe I should answer it because I was really close. But I don't know. No, it's so many good skiers out there. I mean, a lot of good giant slalom skiers. And to be able to be this consistent that you have to be throughout a whole season and a lot of runs, that's really, really difficult to do that, because then you have to really be able to do it again and again and again and again. And I didn't never have that great of a consistency like some skiers had. Not that great, but except that period around the Olympics, and I was really consistent for a while. Also last season for a while it was going really well, but it's not so easy to always like stay at the top, both physically, mentally, and there's a lot of things it takes to do it again and again and again, and especially then on different conditions, because maybe you're really good at one, but then it's difficult to be good in all of them, and then it's different slopes, and it's a lot of things you need to be able to be good at. But
you've been so close.
I've been close. I know.
Do you want to
and then I was a little bit unlucky also, maybe one time in order when I straddled. But it can also happen. I mean, because then other people were unlucky for other things. So for sure. But I've been close. But not close is not winning.
This is my commentary card, ladies and gentlemen. This lady is so understated. She was third last season in the giant slalom standings, third the season before that, second the season before that, and you have come so close with so much hard work. But correct me if I'm wrong, you're getting better. You're putting podiums down in slalom. You're becoming a better skier.
I think actually yes. It was been really cool that I've done it in slalom now too.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And I think it's one of those stories that has a long way to go. I genuinely believe, having followed you since 2009, that we'll be having conversations like this in 2, 3, 4 years' time, because you're one of those, obviously, mature professionals on the tour, but whilst others are just eking out what they know, you still seem to be learning and progressing. There's a lot more to the Sara Hector story than we're chatting about right now. Would you agree?
Yeah, but for sure. I mean, there's always a lot more behind like every story, because there's the sport, and especially like skiing is so complex. There's so many things you can work in. You can work in like mentally, you can work in the technically world, you can work material wise, and there's so much things, and physically obviously also. So there's always like puzzle pieces you can find everywhere, and that's really cool.
And is it still motivating you? Does it still give you a buzz out there on the training hill?
Yeah.
What was it in Levy? -12?
Yeah, but I don't mind the cold. You know, I'm from Sweden. So that's fine by me. I rather have, but also it's for sure nice when it's sunny, and I'm not complaining on sun. I love sun, but cold, it's okay for me too.
Let's move on.
It's nice to have some winter.
I love your words. I love your words. Let's move on.
Move on.
We've heard you mention that Mikaela Shiffrin as a role model, someone who has attention to detail, technique and mindset, has influenced you. What have you learned from competing alongside her, both as an athlete, as a person, and I know you're great buddies as well?
No, but she's a really impressive human, I would say, in so many ways. I think the work that she's putting down, like every day, it's really incredible. It's so serious, and I would say that I think she's really like, it's really cool to watch her both ski for sure, and the whole way her team, and she's working and has done in so many years. That's also very impressive. And she's like, for sure, just her technical skills, they are amazing. Yeah. That's really stunning to see her ski.
But do you try and emulate her, or you know that you're going to be a slightly different skier with a slightly different technique? Or when you take somebody as a role model, do you try and copy everything, or you just take a few ideas that you shape into your style?
Yeah, for sure, because I couldn't ski like her.
Yeah.
Like, I have my body and I have my strengths and my weaknesses. But if I can learn maybe some things, which she's doing well, and move this to my skiing, and then look at my skiing, and then but it's always nice to see other skiers, because you can learn so much from others, and Mikaela obviously has like her technical base is super good, so you can always learn things from that, which is doing really well.
Do you think she's learned anything from you?
We have to ask her sometime, I guess.
Okay, we will.
We can ask her sometime, but I don't know. I think
she has.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, we'll ask her, but I think she has. I think she's watched you carefully as well. And I love the way that the top skiers trade that off. I like the way you do that. That's going in there.
No.
I like the way you do that. That's going in there.
No, but that's really good. You can really do that in skiing. But maybe some skiers, you know, if I watch a really, really tall skier, it's a little bit difficult for me.
Yeah.
Because if you're really tall, I feel like maybe you have to ski a slightly different technique in some parts. And so it's good when you can find somebody who has maybe a little bit similar movement patterns. And then you can maybe practice to change yours in that, like, but better, but similar a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, because you can see since you have been watching skiing for so many years, for sure, you know too. You can see some ski a little bit similar, and some less, and you sometimes maybe it can help a little bit to watch somebody who is skiing a little bit similar to you. I'm not saying I'm skiing so similar to Mikaela, but I would say she's skiing so technically good, so there's a lot of things you can pick out from what she's doing.
I see a lot of the young Swedish girls coming out skiing like you.
You think so?
So many.
No,
Don't even go there.
But they are skiing really good, the young skiers in Sweden now. They're coming so much.
Yeah, it's good.
They're good.
And in your early career, you shared the Swedish team with legends like Frida and Anya. What did you learn from them, technically, emotionally, or how to carry yourself in this sport? I remember the team atmosphere in the ladies' Swedish team was something that the American team copied and want to be like. You were like buddies. You were pushing each other. But you were always a joy to watch, to follow, TV, mountain training, you name it. What was it like working with those legends? And was it as simple as, well, we just pushed each other? Or was there more to it? Because the team energy of women's Swedish team was very special for many seasons.
Yeah. No, but I think for those years, for sure, we had a really good team atmosphere. I remember when I came in and I did one of my first World Cups, like Anya, she took a little bit the role of taking care about everybody. And she was, before the World Cup in order, maybe my first, I don't know, or maybe not, but maybe somewhere around there. She was like, go out now and you know that you can, don't go and be shy, like really take space. You can do it on inspection, like you are here and this is your hill. And you know, just sometimes hearing people pushing you to also dare to take some space, or you know, being a good role model in more ways than just maybe skiing wise, that's good for sure. And I think we had a lot of fun, but I think we still do have a lot of fun, because for sure you're traveling a lot when you're from the Swedish team too. You're not always home, not so easily to go back home, like as if you live maybe mid-Europe. But what else would I say about those years? Like we had a lot of good, Maria and Frida and Jessica, and a lot of them were performing really well. And then us young skiers, we tried to follow the way for sure a little bit, and also have fun together too, because we were a lot younger. I mean, I remember sometimes they were talking about finding dress for getting married, and I was maybe 18. I had not even kissed a guy, maybe, I don't know. And then they were really like in a different time zone than I was. Like now I can feel it, and maybe I'm the one, you know, making a house, or, you know, and then there's younger skiers in our team too, which is maybe not in the same time in life, or like, how do you say it? The life, you understand.
Life cycle, yeah.
Life cycle, it's a little bit different, but that's fun. And when you can go together and you can have fun and doing things outside, that's really nice.
And the young girls on the Swedish team now tell me that you're like the captain. You're like the mother hen. You look after them. You make sure that they're safe. You make sure that they're not making stupid mistakes. And I've heard some wonderful stories that when they're really having those psychological, mental, tough times, you've gone there and got them out of trouble as quick as they've got into trouble. Do you like that role as women's Swedish team captain?
Yeah, but I would say it's me and Anna, because we're both old and experienced girls in this team, and that's nice for sure. I mean, I think we try to take good care of our youngsters, but yeah, but it's nice for sure. to be able to maybe come with some good advices, because it's always nice to get the good advice also when you need it. And I mean, it can be tough sometimes in sports, so sometimes you need somebody who can come and give
Dave
you...
Riding was in here yesterday, and he's got 2 young boys on his team. And he was saying that as much as he's helped them, they help him as well.
Yeah, for sure.
They push him. They're on his tails. You know, that he never has a moment where he can be quiet. And so he said it works really well for the older skiers to have the young guns and for the young guns to learn from the older skiers.
No, for sure. I think it's a good combination for sure to have a team where you can change experiences but also just have fun. I mean, that's also nice. I mean, it's good when you're more people in the team. Sometimes it's easier to just have, maybe talk about something else in skiing, or you think about other things. Yeah, that's nice.
Let's move on. Icy slope. And we've asked somebody to ask you a couple of questions. You'll recognize who this person is immediately. And I'm not sure whether they're trying to catch you out or not. But tell us who it is, Sara, and then tell us the answer to the question.
See who is coming now. It's Cornelia,
okay.
One of the young guns in our team then. Okay, let's see.
Hi, Sara. I have a question for you. I know that when you do your nails or hair or something, you get easily bored and you ask someone else to do it for you. So my question for you is, do you have patience when it comes to skiing, or is it the same there?
That's a bit cheeky, yeah?
But that's really true. That's also a good thing to have young guns in the team. But it could have been old ones too, I don't know. But
how will you answer to Cornelia?
Oh, yeah, well, if I have patience to skiing, for bad results, no. I have no patience for this. But that would have been good in the growth.
Yes.
To have a little bit patience for this. But my patience is not the best in the world.
Okay. At least you're being honest.
Yeah, I'm honest. I don't have the best patience. But I also, not for my hair or for the nails, like she says, or for, that's a lot of things I could.
Right on point, though, because the young kids, they really do.
But for sure, I'm stubborn.
Yes.
So I'm not giving up.
Yes.
When it comes to, like, I'm patient enough to be stubborn, or stubborn enough to be patient. I mean, or how do you say it?
Yes, that's right.
That's right. Yeah, but I don't know. But I'm not the one who is doing one run and then I'm like, okay, we try again. But then I'm more like again. And I have patience to try again.
Let's move on beyond the ski track. Now, you have many interests, from sailing to renovating houses, and your family plays a central role in your life. You've often said you learned to read from your mother, to count from your father, to argue from your brother, and to love from your sister. How do you stay connected to them, even while living on a tour that takes you all over the world?
Yeah, well, sometimes I'm thinking nowadays it's a little bit bad with the phones. You can be all over the place, but when you're traveling like this, it's so nice because then you can really stay connected and you can really make call on the phone with video. I did it this morning with my mom and my sister, and my mom, she's unfortunately sick in ALS, and so it's even nicer than to be able to call at home and being able that she can really follow my journey, because I think that's something that's also really fun for her to be able to come along, and like if I'm sending some pictures or just giving, like talking on the phone with the video or so, it's really nice. And for sure with my dad I talk a lot, and my brother.
Just about every ski racer that's come into this podcast tells us how important that love, that connection is with their family when they're on the road. When you're partying because you've won another gold medal, fantastic. But they go through the highs and the lows. Have your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister been with you literally all the way? The one people that you can always call, even if you come 25th.
Yeah, for sure.
The love's back home.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I would, yeah. They have really been with me all the journey I've made, and no matter what I do, for sure, I know they're always there. Like even if maybe even more if I'm doing bad, then I know I can call them, but they also come with all these hundreds of tips, because they're also really interested in skiing. And then my mom too, she can be like, I sent her a video when I was training in Finland some years ago, and she's like, if you stand on the outside skiing, you move over the rollers, maybe you can do good. I could, thank you, Mom. So sometimes they're not only like but they are really into it and they really want to support me. But for sure, they're also, sending a lot of love, and they're always there. And if I want to, like, if I do a bad race, I would for sure. I like to talk to my parents too.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have good inputs, and sometimes they're like,
Okay, Mom.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes like that too. Okay, Mom, but that's okay, But it's nice to have them, and I know they always want the best for me, all of them, and that's very nice.
You and your partner own a sailboat, and
Yeah.
every summer you try to spend time at sea, balancing sailing days with training sessions. What does the ocean give you that nothing else does?
I think calmness. Like if she's saying I'm not so patient, like if the wind is not blowing so much when I'm on a sailing boat, I don't care, because I'm fine with that. Like I like to just be in the sun and be there, and I like to be on the ocean, and it's but it's like being in the mountain too. It's just calm, and the views and then being on the mountain. Then anyway, it's somehow also a little bit attached to performing for me, because I've done it so many years. So then being on the ocean, it has nothing to do with performance for me. That's only vacation time. So I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Great
words. Now, your personality is often described as energetic, busy, sometimes a bit chaotic, but also thoughtful and analytical. How do you see yourself?
Yeah, well, that was pretty good. Good, I would say. I can sign up of all of those words, I guess. I like thinking a lot. I like analyzing, but I also like. I'm a little bit, things. I like when things go fast, and that's maybe the part of my patience. I don't like waiting. I don't like to stand in line. So sometimes that's the bad thing with skiing, because you need to wait a little bit too much. But otherwise, there's not so many bad things with skiing. What did it say? Clumsy a little bit. I can be a little bit clumsy. I lose keys and, spill on my clothes. And
It's very honest.
Yeah, but... energetic, yeah. It can go up and down, but mostly I'm energetic.
Great word. Now, mental health is one of the themes that are closest to your heart. Tell us why it's so important to you.
No, I think it's really interesting with the psychology. Like I read psychology in university. And it's just one of my, I think it's maybe not passion, but, I think it's really fun to read about how things is working in the brain. I don't know if it's like, I think for sure I really like being happy. And sometimes you're not always happy, and then it's interesting to understand why. Yes. Maybe because I really like thinking so much, and then I like to get better in every kind of aspect, and not only about skiing, but this is just interesting how you can maybe tackle things better in life, because sometimes maybe you face setback or things is maybe I don't know, some things is not really working out the way you want, or you're coming in a situation where you feel threatened. And if you're good to handle it, then you can handle it in a much better way. And I think you can learn so much by reading about it too. And I think that's why it's very interesting. So I like this subject a lot, because it can give you so much things in life.
And do you think that's why the young girls turn to you when they're finding how, because it's tough, the World Cup Tour, for a young kid coming on. It's tough. And there's not even time sometimes to think about your mental health or figure it out.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, when things is bad, then it's obviously it's tough. But I think there's so many good ways. I think it's good that people are talking more about it.
Yes.
Because it's, I think a lot of people go through sometimes unhealthy periods in life mentally, and it can be maybe because of stress, or it can be a lot of things like depression or things like this. And if you have strategies where you can work around those things, or especially having people around you which can help you, that's so important. And also being like able to talk about it, because that's for sure the first thing to even find help. So I think that's also super important. And I think working with the mental part of yourself, it's like sometimes it's so divided, like physically and mentally, but maybe it should, and I think like the stigma has been around the mental part more because it's so difficult to understand, and it's not really like you can take on a broken bone and like this is broken, you see it on the x-ray. It's not so easy with the psychology. It can be so many things mentally, and it's not so, I think that's what can make it so interesting, but in one way also so difficult because it's so complex, and we probably know like so little of everything that's to know about this. But just that people are talking more about it, I think that's very good, because then you can get help for sure much easier if you are facing a tough time.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. Another defining part of your story is your family. We touched on it earlier, especially your mum. Her illness led you to take part in charity work and fundraising, including the Hector ALS Challenge, using your voice and platform to support research and awareness. Can you share what that journey has meant to you? And is that another one of those passions where you're stubborn, so you're going to make it work?
Yeah. But I think it started with that I felt so hopeless about the whole thing that my mom had ALS, and then I talked to some friends. Like I like talking a lot, and then I talked to some friends, and then they said, but and one guy has been helping me a lot mentally also. He said, but if you think about it's like either you do something or you accept, kind of. And then I realized like, okay, but what can I do? I can do something actually about it. And that's really cool. I have the ability to do something. So probably I should do something if I can do something. And then I realized like just sitting and being sad, because for sure, like maybe it's you have to be sad. And that's good. I think you have to let emotions out. So for sure, it's good to be sad, but you cannot only be sad. Like you have to get more emotions in. And I think that's like when I actually get to know about my mom had ALS, then I made a whole essay. Like, I don't know, I looked it up, everything. Like I was on Google and I was looking, this is what you should do. And now my mom is doing a lot of those things. She came after like, my doctor, she said I should take creatine. I was like, yes, it's in my page. I wrote it there because mitochondria is getting worse. And I like, I was really Googling a lot of things when I saw her getting this. So first I tried to help her, but now she did some of those things like a lot, and she's been fighting so hard. Like she's really really stubborn. If I'm stubborn, she's maybe even more, I think. But
there's a connection there.
Yeah, there's a connection there. I probably get it from my mom and not so much from my dad. I think he get a lot of other things from him, but not so much that trait. But no matter what. So then Hector ALS Challenge, then I felt I really wanted to do something which actually could make a difference. So then I started this, and so much help from Robin, my boyfriend. Without him, we wouldn't have been able to do this. He really was like doing so, because it's really tough organizing a competition like this when you're a World Cup racer. And then now it's been growing. So then I have more people who is helping me all the time, which is super cool. We've been raising over 100,000 like euros, you could say. So now you can even see it's like made a difference, and it's going a lot of money into research, that's something I'm super proud of, because the only thing I did is something which is the most fun thing to do. It's a ski racing. Like I cannot think of something more fun than going skiing, and the concept is pretty cool because people get to compete against each other. Like you can challenge your friend or your kids or me. So everybody's coming there, and then they can also ask how they want to challenge me. So people, they're like, ski on one ski, ski backwards. And one said, ski backwards on one ski. This was so difficult. But the cutest is the kids who are coming and saying, ski your best, but let me win.
That's wonderful.
That's so nice. But it's really cool. Like, I think it's been really good for Sandviken to have this competition. And Kungsberg, they're making it so good because it's the ski resort where I grew up. And they're really like put all the passionate into this because it's a really nice, it's close to Stockholm. So it's good. And then a lot of people, they're just coming there and having fun. And it's a really nice day where
Beautiful.
Where you pay like 10 euros and then you can get a vest and then bib and then you can challenge anybody for this.
When's the next one?
So it's right after the finals, actually, end of March. I don't know exactly the date, but maybe it could be 28th
So
of
keep
March.
an eye out online. Sandviken. It is the Hector ALS Challenge.
Yes.
Be there.
In Kungsberg, you come.
Yeah. Don't make a ski backwards though. Don't like that one. Let's move on. Bit of fun to finish up. Some great words. I love the ALS Challenge.
Thank you so much.
Rapid fire. Quick answer. Soon as the answer comes in, ping pong.
Okay, no, this is so difficult sometimes.
No,
I try my ping pong.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, ready. You go.
Best teammate?
Anna or Cornelia or everybody. You cannot say one. Take this away. Take this question away.
That was a good start, though. The coach you missed the most?
Dad.
Great answer. Now they get tough now. Anja Persson, Frida Hansdotter.
Frida Hansdotter.
Oh, good. Federica Brinoni or Lara Guparami?
You make me into so difficult answers here. But I say Federica.
Good answer. Ted Ligety or Marcel Hirscher?
Hirscher.
Favorite dish?
Meatballs.
Salmon or reindeer?
I take salmon.
A giant slalom, crystal globe, or another Olympic gold?
Oh, I get this question a lot. But so this year I should obviously answer Olympic gold because it's only this year the chance is coming. But for sure, I'm also dreaming a lot about a crystal globe.
I think you deserve some crystal and some gold, to be honest.
Oh, well, you're too kind.
I think it's coming.
You're too kind.
Recovery day or extra training session?
Extra training session.
The win everyone remembers or the run only you know was perfect?
The run only I know was perfect.
What do you tell yourself in the start gate?
Different things, actually. But now you said rapid fire, so I better say something fast. Well, then push. Now maybe I say fun. Or, a lot of things.
Your biggest strength?
Maybe my passion.
Your most human weakness?
I'm pretty clumsy.
Your worst flaw?
Then you mean my worst mistake? Maybe actually my worst one. It's maybe training sick before I get injured. That's why I get injured. Actually, to be honest, maybe that's probably the worst one.
That's a great answer. Your best quality?
My best quality?
Yeah.
Maybe let's say I like to think a lot. I think analyzing.
Okay. What stresses you more? A TEDx talk or standing at the start gate in Åre leading after the first run?
It's none of these stresses me the most.
Then what stresses you the most?
A really bad period in skiing. Like that stresses me much more than leading after first run. Then I'm like, I know I can do this. But, coming in and being like not qualifying, that would stress me a lot.
There you go. If skiing ended tomorrow, what would you do first?
I would figure out what to do next.
That's a great answer. That brings us to the end. Sara, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for making a lot of nice words.
And I mean what I say.
Yeah,
this lady is one of the nicest ladies on the World Cup Tour. But take away the World Cup skiing and she's still a beautiful lady. To all of our listeners, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next time here on Alpine Pulse. And on behalf of the Alpine Pulse podcast team, many thanks for your company. She's great, isn't she? We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Alpine Pulse, is an official podcast of the FIS, produced by Maniac Studios.